So since doing a bunch of fucking trauma processing, we've been blending and things are different. I'm JA, we're the D.I.D system, let's fucking talk about it. So if you've been following our journey, you know that we've been doing fucking trauma processing for months and months and months. And since I kind of closed out my dealing with an EMDR, barriers have started to come down. They're still there. They're just much lower than we've experienced them before. There's been new blending between alters. So for instance, this morning I was blending with E, and we've never blended before. And she didn't know what to expect, which is a big deal for her because she's all on proper expectations, and she didn't know what to expect. Like what she was going to feel about a certain thing at any given moment was new and different. So like things have been shifting, and we don't know where they'll stop shifting. There's really no way to tell. And that's one of the things about this fucking disorder is you just gotta go with it because you have no idea. So part of the benefit of this is that, like for me, having access to the thoughts, feelings, like traits of the others just kind of passively has lowered my, we'll call it my disgust quotient around men, where I'm just like, ugh, like, and my whole body tenses up. That's less. Like, it's still, don't fucking get me wrong, it's still there. It's just, instead of it's like, it's a lot more tolerable for me, which is great. Honestly, it helps me to be able to have access to more outside situations because I'm not triggered to be around men. I might be a little repulsed, but you know, there's a difference between being repulsed and literally shaking because your body goes, oh, that's the dangerous thing. Let's kick into fight or flight. So, however, the inverse is also true. While I have access to traits that are kind of softening to my experience, E then was having bleed through of my traits. And so to feel like a tensing up, something that she's not felt before. She's very social and very at ease in a social situation. Like she wasn't expecting it and then didn't know, like, oh, okay, so this is new. How do I respond to this? So it goes both ways, and it is the whole system has been experiencing this kind of back and forth as barriers are coming down. And we really don't know, like, what things will continue to shift and where we'll end up at the end. Somebody was telling me, and I don't know if it was Jenna or Lil or whatever, you know, they all had a fusion right when me and Caleb and Debbie were emerging. And the theory is that was, I think E said, to make a wide net to catch us all, because I was pretty much I was stuck in trauma. Like I was stuck in a trauma memory. I was pretty much in the back just screaming all the time. So it was a lot of stress on the system, and their understanding is that the fusion was to help get us through that. And then once we got through the roughest part of emerging and dealing with, we're no longer in trauma and kind of adjusting, that fusion came apart in bits. Some of this feels like what it felt like leading up to that. And I don't know, I wasn't there. That's what they're telling me. So some of the thought is like, are we heading for another fusion? And we don't fucking know. Like there's really no way to predict. Like, will the barriers just come down and us flow seamlessly one to another, or will we start to come together? The unpredictability of how things work within D.I.D is part of what can cause anxiety with it. But our commitment has been to healing. That's like, whatever it looks like, we're not going to push coming together. We're not going to push staying apart. We're just going to let our brain do what it does. That's my vacuum. Hang on. So, as I was saying, we're not going to push coming together. We're not going to push staying apart. We are going to just seek healing and see where the process takes us. However, that's scary. Like, it's nice knowing your destination. And we don't know our destination outside of we are here for one another. We will always, like, we are committed to each other and to the growth and healing of each other. And that's where we are and that's where we stand. That said, everything's like doing this, like, so we're here for the ride wherever it takes us. And thank you for joining us in the ride as well. I guess we'll all find out together where we're going. It's like we're on a floating island. If y'all have read The Life of Pi, there's a floating island with carnivorous plants. Like, that's a decent analogy. Anyway, the island's floating. You don't know what's going to happen at any given moment. I like that intro. Okay. Anyway.